This is Luke 15, verses 11 to 32. Remember, the context is that all the tax collectors and the sinners were coming to Jesus. Jesus was eating with them, but all the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling that Jesus was meeting together with these sinners and tax collectors. And Jesus said, a man had two sons. The younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of the estate that falls to me." So he divided his wealth between them. And not many days later, the younger son gathered together everything together and went on a journey into a distant country, and there he squandered his estate with loose living. Now, when he had spent everything, a severe famine occurred in that country, and he began to be impoverished. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens in that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would have gladly filled his stomach with the pods that the swine were eating, and no one was giving him anything. But when he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread? But I am dying here with hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me as one of your hired men.' So he got up and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion for him, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to his slaves, 'Quickly, bring out the best robe, put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet. And bring the fattened calf, kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and has come to life again. And he was lost and has been found.' And they began to celebrate. Now his oldest son was in the field, and when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing, and he summoned one of the servants and began inquiring what these things could be. And he said to him, 'Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has received him back safe and sound.' But he became angry and was not willing to go in. And his father came out and began pleading with him. But he answered and said to his father, 'Look, for so many years I've been serving you, and I have never neglected a command of yours. And yet you've never given me a young goat, so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your wealth with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him.' And he said to him, 'Son, you have always been with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, for this brother of yours was dead and has begun to live, and was lost and has been found.'" This is the story that the prodigal son. The prodigal means one who wastes everything. And the younger son comes to the father, and he says, "I want my share. I want my share now." Now, in those days, the land was usually passed on to the eldest son, but a share, often in lifetime, was given to the younger children, and this is what the younger child got. But he took it away and he squandered it all. And finally, when he squandered it all, there was a severe famine, perhaps sent by God, so that this boy would come to his senses. And he comes back and he says, "Look, at least take me on as a hired servant. I've sinned against you." And the father just takes him. It's interesting that the father is looking. He is looking out for when that son will return. And he comes back, and the father is overjoyed with what? With the return of his son. And he comes, they have this great party, and the older son is just grumbling, just like these Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes of the law, saying, why don't we get a party? Well, it says there, right at the beginning it says that the father shared out the property between the two sons. It was his to use. It was his to have a party if he wanted to have a party. Never asked for it. And the scriptures here tell me that tells us that the father and his father came out and began pleading with him. The father for the prodigal was there and he was watching, but for the older son he came out and he looked for him, he found him, and he was pleading with him. And perhaps that's how Jesus was with these Pharisees. He was pleading with them to turn from their wicked ways and to follow the Lord, to turn away from their hypocrisy. But they would not. How we need to be, the finished state of them both. It was better for the younger son who'd squandered everything but returned to the father than the older son who never knew the love of the father.